So, since the inception of real estate, since the early 1900s when Coldwell Banker just got started, everybody followed one typical model. And I believe that model is something like this. All real estate companies had an international or a parent company, if you will, someone who basically ran everything. Then they broke off into regions and franchises. Okay? Then they broke off into offices and market centers. Then those offices and market centers had to hire managers and team leaders, people that they paid to go out and build the business, to hire the real estate agents, so on and so forth. Now, a lot of this cost money. This is brick and mortar. This is old school. If you think about Blockbuster versus Netflix, this is the Blockbuster mentality, okay? Now, what happens is, at the very end of that spectrum is the agent. Now, I know because when I worked for Keller Williams, which I loved Keller Williams, they were a fantastic company, this is the structure that they followed with their profit share. Now, eXp has something called revenue share, which is totally different from profit share, so please don't get those two mixed up. But it followed this criteria. The international company was paid, then they paid the regions and the offices and the market centers, and then the managers and team leaders, and whatever was left over was divided among myself and 200 or 300 agents in that particular office. And whatever the profit was, we split it. And then that was our profit share. My highest profit share check for 1 month was about $27, $28. My highest revenue share check with eXp is well into the thousands. And I want to show you why. Glenn Sanford is our founder and CEO. He was a genius with AOL. He knew all about marketing. His company really just rose to the top with Keller Williams. In 4 years, he had sold $60 million worth of online real estate. The guy just had it going on, but he had a whole new concept. And he said, why don't we flip real estate on its head? He said, we've got companies like Uber, which doesn't even own a taxi or a cab, right? It's putting the taxi business out of business. We have companies like Netflix who put Blockbuster and Hollywood Video out of business. We've got companies like Airbnb, who doesn't own one single hotel room, who are putting, standard hotels. They're causing them to have a downfall in their sales, right? So there's all these different modern technologies where there really is no brick and mortar. So why not do the same in real estate? If you think about it, when's the last time that you really went to the office? Or when you were at the office, how many agents were actually in the office? Some of these leases are $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month, depending upon where you're at. Well, this new model was so unique. Here's what happened. Glenn said, we're going to make everybody an agent owner. Now, what does that mean exactly? That means that you don't have to buy a franchise, expensive franchises. If you've tried to purchase a franchise, they're outrageous. You don't have the overhead. You don't have all of the people that you have to pay down below you, right? You also don't have the headache and the liability of a managing broker. You can do all of this with a salesperson's or a broker's license. Pretty unique, and without having to come out of pocket with a lot of money. Now, what does it do? It eliminates the regions. It eliminates the franchises. It eliminates the offices and market centers. And it eliminates the managers and team leaders. All of that costs tons and tons and tons of money. But here's what it does do. It gives that agent owner an international company. Just like if you went out and bought a franchise. You've got all the marketing done for you. You've got everything already at your fingertips. And literally, you just have a salesperson's license or a broker's license. And you can build your team all across the entire country. We're talking 50 states, all of Canada, and throughout the world. Pretty incredible, isn't it? Now, how does it happen? It happens in 3 different ways. Number 1 is our disruptive technology. I was talking to you about Netflix and Blockbuster, right? If you knew that there was a brand new Blockbuster opening up right down the road, would you get in your car on Friday night, drive down there, and hope that the video was in? Or would you sit there with Netflix and click and play from your couch? Obviously, it's a very simple answer. We all know the answer to that one. It's because technology is getting bigger, not smaller, right? And so our cloud office allows you three major things: leads, training, and support. What if I could tell you that you could drive to a listing appointment while listening to your broker in charge or your managing broker in an office meeting without having to go to the office, without having to sit there for an hour and waste time? You could literally listen to it through your Bluetooth radio. What if I told you that you could attend a class where $100 million producer is teaching you how to take effective listings and get 7% commission rather than 6? You can do that with this model. Now, what about leads? Leads are very important, right? We have a proprietary system called KV Core. This system is so unique that it does everything for you. All you have to do is make the phone calls. It's going to send the text messages. It's going to send the emails for you. It's going to set up the campaigns. It's going to set up the listing alerts. If it just has an email address, it's going to search the World Wide Web to find out where those people are at. Are they on Facebook? Are they on LinkedIn? Are they on Google+? Wherever they're at. And it's going to pull all that information into one central location. So you have a name, an email address, a phone number, and a mailing address. You have a bona fide lead. Now, I am currently generating between 100 and 300 of these leads every single month. These are qualified leads ready to buy and sell. This system does this for you. It's very, very unique. It's cost thousands and thousands of dollars every single month if you want to be a member of this particular company. It's included for free within your monthly obligation to eXp. Pretty cool. Now, what about the training? Let's talk about that a little bit. You know, you're only as good as the person who's training you. So if that person is training you has only sold 5 houses that entire year, likeliness of you selling more than 5 houses is probably not very good. But what if you had someone that was in Los Angeles, California that sold literally $100 million in real estate, training you on how to do that listing presentation? Do you think you could take more listing presentations? Do you think you could take more listings? Do you think you could take more buyers? Of course you could, because you're being trained by the best of the best. And that is the way that our company works. That's the way that our support system works. If you need a listing presentation, just ask someone. They'll give it to you. Why? Because we're all agent owners, and we want the company to grow, because as the company grows, so does the stock, and so does our company. It's rising tide rises all ships, right? That's the way that we believe that this company is ran. Now let's talk a little bit about support. When's the last time that you tried to get in touch with your managing broker? I know when I worked at my old brokerage, it could take 3 to 5 days sometimes. Not anymore. We have something called the eXp world. I walk in, my avatar sits down in front of my managing broker. My managing broker answers my questions right away. If I have a problem with a transaction, while I'm at the closing table, I pull out my computer, I go in, I walk in, I sit down, I talk to the transaction department, and they get things taken care of right away. I have a problem with my computer. The tech department takes care of my computer right away. This service is literally available almost around the clock. It's incredible at the support that you'll receive with eXp. A lot of people say, oh, that's a virtual brokerage. I don't know if I want to go there because it's a virtual brokerage. I may not get the support. I'm going to tell you, my support has been 100 times better than it ever was at a brick and mortar location, because I have it at the palm of my hand in my phone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now let's talk about the disruptor number 2, stock. So I want you to think about real estate in 3 lanes. We're going to think of highways here. And so on lane 1, we've all traveled that highway. You work with as many buyers, as many sellers as you want to, right? What happens when you have an accident? You get into a car accident, or you break a leg and you can no longer show houses, or you have a family member who gets really sick and put in the hospital, or you may just want to take a month off and go to Europe. What happens during that time? That treadmill stops. When the treadmill stops, the income stops. Well, Glenn was so genius in this. He said, well, what if we make our agent owners a part of our stock? So we give them stock for doing what they're already doing. No more plastic trophies or certificates hanging on the wall. How about this? You close your first transaction of the year, you get stock in eXp, which is our parent company. Pretty cool. When you cap, we're on an 80-20 split. That means 80% goes to you, 20% goes to the company. When you reach $16,000 for that cap, you've paid in $16,000, you now go to 100% minus a $250 transaction fee. What happens then? You get stock for capping, for doing your job. Okay? What about this? What if you sponsor an agent into eXp? You tell them a little bit about the company. You share with them how it works. You help them a little bit, help them grow their business a little bit. And in the process, you get stock for every transaction they close at the beginning of every single fiscal year for them. This happens over and over and over. Now, here's the cool part. It is 3-year vested, so you need to be with the company for 3 years to cash that out because it's given to you, okay? The other way is a $16,000 give back, okay? We're going to call this the Icon Award Agent Program. And basically what that is you have capped, you've paid in your $16,000, and you've sold an additional 20 transactions above and beyond that. And you've done a few things like go to the shareholders meeting and the eXp convention, annual convention every year. You do those, and you get your entire $16,000 back in the form of stock. Where else would you go that would give you your entire amount that you put back in back? This is why people are not just filling the fire, but they're actually becoming the fire, right? This is the reason, okay? It's because you get all your money back just for doing your job. Again, that's 3-year vested. Now, there is an option, and everybody I know does this. You take 5% of your transactions, and you purchase stock at a 20% discount. So imagine like a 401k, if you will, okay? So what happens is you sell a house, and the company takes 5% of your commissions and purchases stock at a 20% discount. So you've got 20% equity in stock right away. So if it's at $10 a share, you're getting it at $8 a share. This is a great, great way to save for retirement. And then the third one, and we're going to get a little bit more in depth on this one, is revenue share. Now, this is not to be confused with profit share. Remember, profit share goes through the tree over on the left-hand side, through the regions, the office centers, the market centers, the managers, team leaders, down to the janitors, and whatever's left over is split up among however many agents are in the office. Revenue share is paid off the top. Let me give you some examples. This right here, you would think would have something to do with commission structure, but it doesn't. You see, $900,000, according to financial advisors, is the amount that you have to save after taxes in order to retire and live a very, very mediocre lifestyle. Now, the financial advisor says you can only take up to 4% per year, which is a total of $36,000 or $3,000 per month. So, remember our $16,000 cap we were talking about? I'm going to show you how to get that back and more. So here's you. You join eXp. You think that the leads is great. You think the technology is great. You think that the stock is great. You love everything about the company. You come in, and maybe in 3 years, let's say in 3 years, you just happen to stumble across 2 people per year that are interested in looking at this opportunity. 2, that's it, 2 per year. You're doing transactions, you're selling houses, okay? But 2 per year over 3 years gives you 6 people. Now, the way that eXp works is they're going to pay you up to $2,800 per agent. Now, what do I mean by that? So once the $16,000 is paid in the cap, there is no more revenue to give away because our company is giving away 50% of its revenue to the agents for organically growing the company. So once that happens, then $2,800 is the maximum amount that you can earn off of your tier number 1. But if you multiply those 2 numbers together, you'll receive $16,800. Essentially, your cap is free just from bringing 6 people in. Now, this could take you 3 years. This could take you 3 months. This could take you 3 weeks. It depends on how quickly you want to work and how much you want to share the opportunity. Now, let's just imagine that those people, because they typically do, have one buddy in real estate that says, hey, you went to eXp. Why'd you go to eXp? And they share it with them, and they like it, and they want to join. So now you have 6 people on tier number 2. Now, tier number 2 is going to pay a little bit more than tier number 1. They're going to pay up to $3,200 per person. So that's a total of $19,200. If you add those together, that's $36,000 per year or $3,000 per month. So my question to you is, would you rather save almost $1 million after taxes or come to eXp and introduce this to 6 agents? It's essentially the same thing. Could $3,000 a month change your life? You know, they say the difference between bankruptcy and not is $500 a month. $500 a month, that's it. $3,000 per month could change drastically people's lives. Okay? Now, let me explain how this revenue share works. So, tier number 1, I told you, is up to $2,800. If you take all those numbers right there in the center, the 2,800, 3,200, 2,000, 1,200, 800, so on and so forth, you add those up, that's $16,000. So essentially, eXp has said, we're going to give bite-sized rewards out to everyone, and we're going to pay out that entire $16,000 if they're willing to open up enough levels. So on tier number 1, you could have 1 through 100, 1 through 200, 1 through 1,000 people. It doesn't matter. And you will earn up to $2,800. Do they have to cap first for you to get paid? No, they don't. Let me give you an example. So you bring in Mary. Mary sells a $10,000 commission. When Mary closes on that house, you're going to get 3.5% for bringing Mary in, which is a total of $350. Not too bad. Okay, now let's say that you've gone out and gotten 4 more Marys. So you have a total of 5 people. Now you have tier number 2 unlocked. Okay, because you have to have at least 5 to unlock tier number 2. When you do that, Mary goes out and invites Ann. And Ann sells a $10,000 commission. Out of the 20%, not the 80% from the agent, out of the 20% that Ann has paid into the company, Mary receives $350 for being tier number 1's sponsoring agent. You brought in Mary. You don't even know Ann. But the company's going to pay you $400 for Ann and still pay $350 to Mary out of the $2,000 that they generated. So that's essentially $750 going back out of the $2,000 that the company generated. And this is the way that it goes on and on and on for 7 tiers deep. It's pretty amazing. Now, let's just imagine a 5-year example. So you've got 10 agents, okay? Let's say that you talk to 2 agents per year over 5 years. That's 10 agents. You're going to make up to $2,800 per agent each year. So that's going to give you $28,000 on tier number 1. Let's say that you teach those 10 agents to bring in 10 agents, each of their own. That's going to give you 100 agents on tier number 2 at $3,200, which is $320,000. If you add those two together, that's $348,000. Now, I know the naysayers out there, and I hear people say it all the time, but you know, that's not realistic. They're not all going to cap. Okay, cut the number in half. Would $175,000 per year change your life? It does. It truly does. It's done it for many, many people. There are many agents that are making 6 figures, not just a year, but per month in this company. And you could do the same thing. It just takes a little bit of work. You're going to get into it, you're going to get out of it, what you put into it. That's the way that the model works. Now let's talk about this. People say, okay, well, what if everybody doesn't cap? You know, we need to figure out an average, this, that, and the other. Okay, so forget tier number 1, tier number 2. We're just going to talk about your entire organization. So we've done the numbers, and the math adds up to about $812 per agent. If you figure out the ones that cap and the ones that don't cap and all this different stuff and the ones that don't sell, it averages out to about $812 per agent in your entire organization. So if you have an organization with 50 agents, you should expect, this is not guaranteed, to make somewhere around $41,000 per year or $3,383 per month. That definitely changes your life. Now, what if that doubles and you go to 100 agents? Now you're looking at almost $7,000 per month. Some of the bigger agents have over 5,000 agents in their entire organization. They only have 40 or 50 personally invited, but they've told people who have told people who have told people they're making, yeah, you can see the number there in the bottom right-hand corner. It's pretty amazing, isn't it? Now, here's the way it works. There's no desk fees, there's no royalty fees, there's no franchise fees. We are on an 80-20 split with a $16,000 cap. That's it. Plain and simple. Once you've paid in $16,000 to the company, you go to 100% minus a $250 transaction fee. That $250 transaction fee lasts for the next 20 transactions. Then you become an icon agent. You get your $16,000 cap back in the form of stock, and that $250 becomes $75, and it remains there. Okay, not too bad. Here's what it costs you out of pocket. $150. So basically a nice dinner out. And here's what's going to happen. eXp is going to turn around and hand you a certificate back for $150. That's going to take care of your cloud office fee for that month. It's going to take care of your business cards. It'll take care of your magnets to go in your car, your folders, and so much more. So basically, you hand them $150. They hand you a certificate back for another $150, and you go out and buy a bunch of stuff that you need for work to get you started. Not too bad. How much does it cost you per month? I hear this all the time. What are the fees? And I've talked to so many people that had the fees backwards, messed up, inflated, so on and so forth. Here's the real numbers. $85 per month. That's it. That includes your KV Core, which, by the way, is almost $1,000 per month if you purchase it outright. That includes your SkySlope system, which is easily $150 to $200 a year. Your DigiSign, which is $20 or $30 per month. Your HomeKeeper app, $40 or $50 per month. Your CMA Builder, $40 or $50 per month. Your Millions Map app, your Open House app, and all of your training. That's it, $85 per month, nothing else. That's all you pay to eXp. Now, transactionally, there are two other options. Okay? On transactions, you pay a $25 broker review fee. That's basically to make sure that you do not end up in real estate jail, for someone to check over your paperwork to make sure that you are legal and compliant. Okay? We all need to have that. And then there's a $40 risk management fee. And that is capped at $500. So once you've paid in $500 or you've capped within eXp, you no longer pay the risk management fee. That's it. There you have it. No desk fees, no royalty fees, no franchise fees. You too could become an owner in the company. You could have stock. You could have revenue share. Again, revenue share is completely optional. If you do not want to partake in it, you do not have to. You can just come over and sell real estate, because we are still the best real estate company to join. We offer more for the bang for the buck than any other company out there. I can guarantee you that. Here's my recommendation. Do a little more research, do your due diligence, ask questions, and get with the person that showed you this video, because they can and they will change your life forever. Thanks so much, guys. God bless.